I want to figure out how plants and animals responded to climate change in the past in order to better help conservation of species going forward into a warming world.
I want to know how the changes that are happening in the ocean right now affect the diversity of marine life that's out there, and in turn, how that impacts humans and human well-being.
I would like to know how changing climate and land cover will affect water availability at the land surface, because water is such a vital resource.
And I want to understand what sort of action should be taken today to limit climate change without compromising development.
What I want to know is how urbanization in Latin America, Asia, and Africa will impact energy use, material use, and greenhouse gas emissions.
What I ultimately want to know is what motivates people and communities and ultimately countries to cooperate with one another to try and deal with the environmental problems that we face.
And I want to know all the ways the climate system can vary. Can we have droughts that last 100 years? Can we have a planet without El Niño events?
And I want to figure out how climate is going to impact our agricultural and water and food systems in the future so that we can prepare for those changes.
I want to know how people all over the world are going to adapt to climate change while maintaining their cultural integrity.
I want to understand how trade impacts the amount of freshwater resources used to grow food.
And I want to figure out how the organisms in the soil that produce carbon dioxide respond to changes in climate and changes in human activities, and how that's going to affect climate into the future.
And I want to figure out how to power our electric grid exclusively with renewables such as wind and solar power.
I want to figure out how climate change is impacting not just sea level, but how rivers are delivering sediment to our coasts, because that's really going to determine how our beaches and barriers respond to climate change.
I'm trying to figure out what controls the amount and type of pollution in the atmosphere so that we can better understand the role this pollution plays in short-term climate change.
I want to know how our individual perceptions and personal experiences shape the actions we take to respond to climate change.
I want to understand why El Niño comes in different flavors and what is their predictability, because these different flavors have different impacts on global precipitation and temperature.
I want to figure out how farmers and ranchers can grow more food while at the same time taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and moving it into the soil.
I want to know the importance of local knowledge systems for enhancing climate change adaptation. And this is important because I think that for development to be sustainable, it has to come from within. And building on people's knowledge systems would be the surest way to promoting sustainable development. Yeah.
I want to know how the carbon in the air changes at very small spatial scales, the community-to-community level, even the door-to-door level. And I think this information will really help us design sustainable cities in the future.
What I want to understand is how we can harness technologies to transform the way we produce and deliver energy services to raise the living standards of the poor people of the world sustainably.
I want to figure out what combination of technology and policy measures can help limit global warming and other energy-related challenges. And I find these kind of problems, complex problems, very fascinating.